A deserted street in the heart of the city, rain falling softly. A sleek, black Lexus sits under a flickering streetlight. The sound that broke the silence was not thunder. It was pounding. Boom, 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 from inside the Lexus. Someone was hitting the steering wheel, breathing heavily, whispering, shaking, sweating. It was Sule, a 27-year-old man drenched in rainwater and panic. The car refused to start. Not dead, no. Worse, it was responding. Each time he turned the key, instead of silence, the speakers whispered a single sentence. Return what is not yours. Sule's heart dropped. His hands trembled. The rain fell harder. The car's interior lights flickered as though something alive had taken over the engine. And as he slammed his palm against the steering wheel again, a voice, his own voice recorded from some unknown place, echoed through the car. Sule? You thought you were smart? He froze. Then the engine roared on its own, and the doors locked themselves. The car started moving, without him touching a thing. And as the Lexus rolled slowly down the wet street, dragging his fate with it, Sule whispered, God, what have I done? Flashback. Sunny afternoon, the lively streets of an African city, hawkers shouting, okadas zooming past, music blasting from shops. Sule walks confidently with shades on, gold chain swinging. Before the car refused to start, before the rain and the whispers, before fear swallowed his pride, Sule was a king in his head, a big boy, a hot boy, a self-proclaimed city lion. Everyone knew Sule, the guy who bragged before thinking, the guy who dreamed before planning, the guy who wanted soft life, but not the hard work that came with it. He sold phones in the market, but his eyes were always on bigger things. He told his friends, one day soon, I'll be driving a Lexus. People will hear my horn and respect will rise in their body. But one day wasn't coming fast enough, and Sule hated waiting. He felt the world owed him something, like the life he wanted was being unfairly delayed. So when temptation came, he didn't fight it. One evening, while packing up his stall at the phone market, Sule overheard two men arguing loudly about a bag filled with cash. Not small money, heavy money. The men were scammers, and from their shouts, one had cheated the other. They were threatening each other, both too angry to notice Sule listening. As their fight got physical, the bag slipped from one man's hand and slid across the floor, stopping right at Sule's feet. For a moment, the whole world paused. Sule looked at the bag, then at the men, then at the bag again, and a voice inside his head whispered, Your miracle has arrived. He picked it up, at least 7 million naira inside. He told himself he was only keeping it safe. Then he told himself he was only borrowing small. Then he told himself the men didn't deserve it anyway. By the next morning, he had convinced himself, it's mine. That same morning, he walked into a car dealership and bought the sleek black Lexus. Cash. People stared. Women whispered. Guys nodded in envy. Sule's chest rose like a drum. His fake confidence was growing wings. He was now Sule Lexus. But his mother's words haunted him quietly from childhood. When money comes too fast, it will run away faster. He laughed back then. He wasn't laughing now. Strange things started happening the very first night he drove the car home. When he turned the key to switch off the engine, the radio crackled and a whisper came through, in a voice that sounded almost like his own. Return it. He switched stations. The whisper remained. He switched off the radio. The whisper continued. He jumped out of the car and slammed the door. The whisper stopped. He laughed nervously, pretending it was his imagination. But deep down, a cold wind curled around his neck. The next morning, he checked the mirror while driving, and something was wrong. His reflection blinked, twice when he hadn't. He gasped and nearly hit a pedestrian. He shook his head. Stress, it's just stress. But his reflection stared back too long. That afternoon, he found a small paper in his glove compartment. He hadn't put it there. 3 words written boldly, return the money. His chest tightened. He knew. This wasn't normal. Still, pride held his mouth shut. Sule didn't tell anyone. Instead, he used the car to show off. He sounded his horn in front of his ex. He revved the engine to impress strangers. He took selfies, posted them online with captions like, "New level, God is not done with me." He ordered expensive food he couldn't finish. He drove recklessly on streets he used to walk barefoot. But the signs intensified. The whispers got louder. The mirrors showed glimpses of things behind him that vanished when he turned around. Sometimes the car would lock itself for a moment before unlocking again, as though something inside was thinking. He started sweating even in air conditioning. Yet if anyone asked how he was, he replied, "I'm enjoying." But at night, he barely slept, because at exactly 2:13 a.m., every single night, the Lexus alarm would go off on its own. And when he looked outside, the headlights would flicker like eyes, watching him. Sule grew restless. He visited a mechanic. "Brother, this car they behave somehow." The mechanic checked everything. No issues. "Ah, Oga Sule, this motor clean. Nothing dey wrong." But something was wrong. Next, Sule visited a spiritual man known for seeing things. The man looked at the car once and stepped back. "Whoever owned this money before you, they didn't die well, and they want what belongs to them." Sule's throat dried. Baba, what should I do?" The spiritual man didn't smile. "Return the money." "But I've spent some." "That's your problem." Sule panicked. "I can return the car instead." "No." The spiritual man shook his head. "The car is not the problem. The money is the problem. Where is the bag?" Sule whispered. "Under my bed." "Carry it back." Sule swallowed hard. "Tonight," the man continued. "And if you don't, the car will take you there by force." That night, the rain fell. The kind of rain that feels like a warning. Sule paced inside his room, staring at the bag under his bed. He tried counting the cash again. It didn't change anything. Every time he blinked, he saw the note, "Return the money." Finally, he grabbed the bag and stormed out. He wasn't doing this because he was brave. He was doing it because fear was squeezing his heart like a hand. He jumped into the Lexus, intending to return the money, but the car wouldn't start. He turned the key. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Then, the speakers burst to life, and he heard his own voice whisper, "Sule, you thought you were smart?" He froze. The doors locked themselves. The engine roared on its own. The seatbelt strapped him automatically, and the car began moving. He screamed. He tried forcing the door. No use. He pounded the glass. No use. The car drove itself into the rain. As the car drove, Sule noticed something strange in the side mirror. A motorcycle following closely. The rider wore a black hoodie, face hidden. The bike kept following no matter how the car turned. Suddenly, the bike overtook the Lexus and blocked the road. The car screeched and stopped. Sule trembled. The rider slowly walked toward the car. He pulled off the helmet, and Sule gasped. It was one of the scammers from the fight, the one who had lost the money. He tapped on the window with a cold smile. "Open the door, Sule." Sule's soul nearly left his body. How do you know my name?" The man smirked. "You think the city is big? We've been watching you since the day you touched that bag." Sule shook violently. "So you put a tracker on the car?" The man laughed. "No, the car brought you here by itself." Sule felt a wave of nausea. The man continued. "That money didn't belong to just us. We stole it from someone dangerous." Dangerous? "Oh yes, and you, my friend, have been driving his curse." Before Sule could respond, headlights flashed behind them. Another vehicle parked. A tall, quiet man in a white caftan stepped out. No umbrella. No fear of rain. His presence was heavy, his eyes sharp. He walked toward the Lexus slowly. The scammer instantly bowed his head. "Boss, we found him." Sule blinked rapidly, his whole body shaking. This man, this calm, expressionless man, was the original owner of the money. He walked up to the window, stared straight at Sule, and said, "You should never touch what isn't yours." Sule burst into tears. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. I was confused. I just—" The man raised a hand. Silence. He nodded at the bag beside Sule. "Bring it out." With trembling fingers, Sule lifted the bag and passed it through the window. The man opened it calmly. All the money was intact, except the part Sule had spent on food, clothes, and fancy life. The man looked at him again. "Where is the rest?" I, I don't have it anymore." The man's eyes darkened. The scammer stepped back. Sule nearly fainted. "Please, I swear, I'll pay you back. Somehow. Give me time." But the man only whispered, "This car should have consumed you, but instead, it brought you to me." Sule didn't understand. Until the man placed a hand gently on the hood of the Lexus. The engine died instantly. The rain slowed. The street felt frozen. Then the man said something that broke Sule. "This is not an ordinary car. It is a collector." Sule stuttered. "A what?" "A collector of debts." The scammer quickly added, "Anyone who spends money tied to it, the car drags them back." Sule stared at the Lexus in horror. The man continued, "It doesn't stop until the debt is settled or the debtor disappears." Sule collapsed to his knees in the rain. "But why did it bring me alive? Why didn't it kill me?" The man stared into his soul. "You still have a chance to change. Not everyone gets that mercy." He turned to leave. The scammer followed. But before entering their vehicle, the man paused and said, "Return what's left, work for the rest, and never steal again." Then they drove away, leaving Sule shaking beside the silent Lexus. The rain stopped gradually. Sule sat on the ground, soaked, broke, humiliated, and alive. He knew what he had to do. He began selling his belongings, his shoes, his clothes, his watch. Eventually, even the Lexus itself. Piece by piece, he returned the money he owed. It took months, hard months, months of swallowing pride like medicine. He sold phones quietly, humbly, without bragging. He apologized to people he had insulted. He stopped pretending to be what he wasn't. And slowly, he rebuilt his life. This time with honesty. This time with patience. This time with fear of shortcuts. People who saw him thought he had fallen. But he knew the truth. He had been saved. Welcome to Awo Tales. Don't forget to subscribe and share the lesson you learned in the comments. Fast money moves fast, but honest money stays.